Hello, and welcome to Four Little Bears. Today, let's go over an MSB3 Mega Stash Buster 3 Scrap Buster project. The link is below for all of the dimensions. I'll link below the other videos where I went through this in more depth, but I'll quickly go through it again. So to make these special card bases, you'll start with 10.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock for card number 4, or for card layout number 4. And save your scrap off of that because that can be cut down to 3 by 4.5 to make 2 card inserts, 1 for each sketch, 4 and 6. So on this one, you'll score it at 4.25, 5.25, and 6.25. For the other special card base 6, I'm going to go ahead and score this at 2 3/4. And then fold and cut it on the long side at 5.5 and at 4.25 on the short side. It makes 2 cards. Again, the link is below to the videos where I explain this in more detail. Now that that's done, I'm just going to take these envelopes, and this is where I'm going to sort out all of my scraps. I'm basically going to go through my entire scrap pile and fit them into these envelopes that I've labeled with the sketch design. And all I'm doing now is writing down the dimensions that go into each envelope. That way I can just quickly check and make sure I'm putting the right pieces in the right folders, or not folders, the right envelopes. This was a pretty long video, so I sped it up, and I'm going to definitely fast forward through the repetitive parts. All right, so here is my latest set of scraps. I have more than this, but this is the first set that I want to go through because it is from my last video. So again, I'm just going to measure these pieces out and then kind of decide which sketch they can go with, determined on the size that it is. I'm not going to pay too much attention to the patterns at the moment. I'm kind of just going to put them where they can go. And afterwards, I'll pay more attention to which pieces I actually want to go with each other. So in that case, I could use it on sketch number 5, and so I put that in the 5 envelope. Now I am going to use the alternate sketches for this for cards number 4 and 6. So this can go into my alternates for card number 4. So basically on pages 6 and 7 of this cut guide, it's going to show you the dimensions that you're going to need to make either the normal MSB3 cards, sketches, or the alternates on page 7. So even though you can make a ton of cards, you could just make whichever sketch that you wanted. I did realize that I made a mistake here. This should be 3 5/8, not 1 5/8. on the second part of card number 3. This is a great way to use up all of the scraps that you might have from any projects that you've got. Starting off with sketch number 1. On this one, it just starts out with a piece that is 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to mark this at 2 3/4 on the top edges. Then I'll just line up those marks and use my trimmer to slice through. And if you only had single-sided paper, just go ahead and get 2 cards out of this sketch and use 2 different papers instead of 1. But because I have double-sided paper, I can just flip that around. Now I didn't have to mark that other side because I just used the first triangle as a template to cut the other edge, or I should say the opposite edge. I'll glue this down. I'm using Barely Arts glue here. It's one of my favorites. I will link all my favorite things down below. I'm just going to fast forward through my decision-making time here where I try to decide what I want to decorate this with. And all of these are just scraps from last year that I didn't get to use up. They're either Echo Park, Simple Stories, and Cartabella are what most of my scraps are. There might be some Creative Path in there also. Those are, again, kind of all my favorites. For sketch number 2, you need a piece that is 4 by 1 1/4, a piece that's 1 1/2 by 2, and one that is 4 by 1 3/4. And again, these are all just suggestions. If you have bigger or smaller scraps, just try to make them work. Especially on sketch 5, you can kind of fudge those numbers a little bit. Again, fast forwarding through my decision-making processes here. And I loved this little sentiment for this. Bake some memories. All right, this is the one I messed up on. So you'll need two pieces that are 1.5 inches by 3 inches, and 2 pieces that are 7/8 inches by 3 5/8 inches, not 1 5/8 inches. So this one is the perfect size for a 2x2 cut up part in the center, but I didn't really have one that matched these colors. So I'm going to cut apart this tag and make that my 2x2 cut apart and just add a little sentiment. I've got plenty of cut aparts, but none that really pulled out that pink color that I wanted in there to kind of continue with the theme. I love pink for Christmas. Am I the only one? I mean, I guess I like pink anytime, not just Christmas. But what do you guys think? Leave it in the comments. Do you like pink for Christmas, or are you a traditionalist? Do you prefer regular red and green? I guess my favorite color is rainbow, so I want it all. I want all of the colors all of the time. For card number 4, we need a piece that is 4 by 5 1/4, a cut apart or another piece of paper that is 4 1/4 by 3, 2 pieces that are 4 by 2 1/2, 4 pieces that are 4 by 2 1/2, 2 of those with notches in them, a piece that is 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside, a card inset for writing the message that's 4 1/4 by 3, 2 optional pieces that are 3/4 by 2 3/4, and that is it. There's a lot on this one, I know, but that is it. All right, so for the alternate, I'm going to make this into gift card holders. So sketch number 4 for me will hold 2 gift cards. Again, I've got a whole video on that one. I'll link it down below. Check it out. And for this one, instead of using a separate piece of cardstock for that little inset piece, I just found a cut apart that I liked and popped it there instead. I'm sure I said in the other video too, decorate these up as much or as little as you like. These are beautiful papers. They're some of my favorite for Christmas. The colors, everything about them, I absolutely love. Of course, I ended up making 2 of these because I'll end up needing at least 6. For card number 5, you're going to need a piece that is 1 inch by 4 3/4, one that's 1.5 by 1.5 ish. You can fudge that one if you need to, and one that's 1.5 by 3. Again, you can fudge that length if you need to, because you're going to end up putting a banner in the middle. And the optional layers are 5 by 3 and 5 1/4 by 3 1/4. I do like those layers in there. I feel like it kind of grounds that design a little bit onto the card. So here's where you'll cover up your little space between those two shorter papers, which is why you can get by with fudging those lengths a little bit if you need to. Plus, that little middle banner is the perfect way to use up tiny scraps. All right, so the next alternate design for card number 6. For this one, I'm going to use a piece that is 4 by 5 1/4, 2 pieces that are 4 1/2 by 3, one with a notch in it. For the card front, a piece that's 4 by 2 1/2, and for the optional insert piece, a piece that is 2 3/4 by 3 5/8. And then I'm also going to use some ribbon. And again, I made 2 of these, mostly because when I do make these, it makes 2 card bases at a time. And again, I found a really cute little cut apart for my insert. So that's what I'll have for my insert. Then I'll just use my fancy schmancy bow technique that I learned on YouTube a long time ago to make this bow. I can't remember who I actually learned it from, but I've seen it everywhere where you wrap the ribbon around your fingers to make the bow. I'm just going to use a glue dot here to attach my ribbon. And when I do get my gift card, I'll do the same thing. I'll just put a glue dot on the gift card and then stick it right down onto the insert piece. This little hot cocoa cutout is perfect for this because I think I'm going to make this a coffee gift card. Well, coffee or cocoa. And here they are. Again, I made 2, and that's how they look opened up. For card number 7, the last one, you'll need 2 pieces that are approximately 2.5 by 1.5, and 2 that are approximately 1.5 by 1 3/4. And again, these are totally fudgeable. You can do whatever you need to do because the center is going to cover up that entire middle. So depending on what cut apart you're using for the middle or what ephemera pieces you're using for the center, that whole piece is going to get covered up, which means you can get by with some pretty small pieces there if you need to. Just trying to make sure that my plaid lines up with itself. I think I'm just going to keep this one pretty simple because I love this little cutout. And that is it. So we made more than 7 cards, 7 card sketches, some gift card holders too, all out of our scrap pile. Well, all out of my scrap pile. I'm sure you've got tons of scraps in your pile too. For any season, any reason, these sketches would be great. I hope you try it out. If you do, tag me on social media, let me know, because I would really love to see these. As always, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you try it out. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below. As always, have fun, have a great week, and stay blessed.